Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Welcome. Glad to have you guys here. All right, Nick, I don't know if you want to set me up as the speaker here. Might be good. All right, perfect. All right, so glad to have you guys here. Welcome, welcome. So we are kicking off today, the first day of the conversion challenge. So happy to have you guys here today. Give it just a second here so everybody can get set up and here. But I am so, excuse me, I'm so excited you guys are here today. This is the first of 3 sessions that we are going to be diving into for a foolproof strategy to not just attract your ideal couples, but convert them into bookings. Because let's be real, at the end of the day, no matter how many leads you have, how many people you bring in, you have to be able to turn them into clients, right? That's the real reason why we're doing the conversion challenge. Because yes, leads are great. We're going to talk about that today. That's everything that today's session is about. But throughout these 3 days, we are going to be talking about how do you take those leads, turn them into bookings, and actually build up your wedding business in 2025. So that's what we're going to be talking about, okay? And I'm going to be showing you how to blow your competition right out of the water, okay? Getting your couples to see your value, not just your price. That's tomorrow's session, so get excited for that. And I'm also going to be showing you how to end the ghosting once and for all with your leads, especially the ones that you know should be booking you, which I know is super frustrating for all of us, right? So does that sound good? All right, so I would love to get to know you guys better, and so I want to invite you guys to go ahead into the chat. I'm going to answer some questions at the end, but I would love to hear, I'd love to get to know you, put your name in there, what type of wedding pro you are, where you are showing up today from. Go ahead and let me know those things. And then anytime you have questions throughout this session in the next couple of days, that chat is going to be the best place to put those, and we're going to help to answer as many of those as we can at the end in the Q&A session. So, excuse me, okay. I think we are pretty good. Got everybody we need here? I think so. All right. So today I'm going to be talking with you about the fast way to bring in the high quality leads that you have been looking for, but I'm actually going to go even deeper on that, okay? We're going to explore why your current lead strategies aren't bringing the bookings that you want and the one missing piece that is going to change everything, okay? So if you are here, chances are that you have been trying different ways to bring in leads for your wedding business. Google Ads, Facebook, Instagram, SEO, premium listings on WeddingWire and the Knot, putting money into that, right? And yet it feels like nothing is working the way that you hoped that it would, or that you feel that it should be working for you. That sounding about right? Is that where you guys are at right now? Well, many of you guys have told us that you have been extra stuck in your wedding business this past year or two, really working hard to bring in those leads, and they just can't seem to understand why you are better than your competition, and they can't see your value, and they're taking forever to book. That's what we hear probably most of all from the wedding pros that we talk to, is that they're talking to couples, they're having conversations, but they're just not getting over their line. They're just not seeing why they need to book with you right now. And if it's not happening that way, a lot of times it's that they're just not replying at all, right? You're having these conversations back and forth, or you're sending out the information, they're reaching out to you, right? Asking for packages and pricing, and then it's like nothing. They just ghost you, you don't hear back from them. It's like, what is going on, right? Super frustrating, because they really should be able to see why you are the right one. They should be able to see why you are going to be the right wedding pro for them, right? It's really frustrating because you see others in the industry who are doing all of these things. They are running the ads. They are paying for the listings on WeddingWire and the Knot. They are doing all of these things. But no matter how much time or effort or money that you throw into it, you are just not seeing the leads or the bookings that you need to grow. And now it feels like you're stuck. So if this is hitting a little too close to home, I want you to know 2 things. One, you are not alone, okay? It's not just you, especially if you are an experienced wedding pro. This year we have spoken with hundreds of photographers and venue owners and DJs and everyone else in the wedding industry who are beyond frustrated that all of a sudden what used to work for them just isn't booking these couples anymore. And they know they have to do something to change. So that's the first thing I want you to know. Just feel reassured with that, okay? It's not just you. But two, I want you to know that you are in the right place by being part of this conversion challenge. That's why you are here, and that's what we're going to help you fix, okay? So if we haven't met yet, my name is Kate Story. I am co-owner of Book More Brides, along with my wonderful husband, Nick, who is there as well. And I am a marketing and messaging expert with more than 20 years of experience in helping business owners get super clear on what makes them the perfect choice for their ideal clients. And our entire purpose here at Book More Brides is helping wedding business owners like you to find the right words that connect with your ideal couples so that they finally see your true value and you become completely irresistible to them. So by the end of today, you'll understand exactly why those methods aren't working for you, why they're not getting you the results that you want, and the one thing that has been missing all along, okay? But I'm gonna give you a little spoiler. It's not about working harder, and it's not about spending more money. It's about what you're saying to the leads you're already getting, okay? So we're gonna dive into that in just a minute, but how are we doing so far? You guys doing okay? Let me know if this is resonating at all. I'm gonna check in the chat real quick. Let me pull this up. Where did it go? There it is. All right. Excellent. There is the chat. There we go. All right, excellent. All right, so I'm seeing some people from Wedding Venue in Maine, Dayton, Ohio. Hey, that's not too far from us. We are in Metro Detroit, so good to see you. Amanda, Mike, and Shyla, good to see you. Also here from Michigan. Brandon, Justin, so happy to see you guys here. Thank you for being here. I know there's a lot more. I don't want to delay it too much, but I just want to say hi. Thanks for being here, you guys. Super happy to go through these things with you. So, all right, let's talk about why your current lead methods aren't working, all right? Like I said a minute ago, you tried running ads on Google, on Facebook, Instagram. You've worked on your SEO. You've spent thousands on premium listings with WeddingWire or The Knot. Maybe you've even gone to wedding shows or hired someone to redo your website in hopes that that's going to make the difference in your wedding business. And yet you're still not getting enough leads and you're not getting enough bookings. The leads you do get aren't the right fit. They're budget brides or just not serious. Or worse, you have a great conversation with them. You give them a quote, you follow up, and then total crickets, right? Does that drive you crazy? Like it's very frustrating because it feels like you're doing all the things that you should be doing, but it's just not working. At least it's not working anymore. Maybe it did in the past and now it's like, what is happening? Why isn't this working now? Well, again, I want you to know you're not alone in this. It's not just you. And we've heard the story so many times from wedding pros. They feel like they're doing everything they should be doing, but instead of building a full calendar, it just feels like a huge waste of time and money. And it's exhausting, isn't it? You're putting in all this work, but it's only getting you so far and not where you really want to be. Well, there are three things I want you guys to know that you really need to know these three things in order to break past these barriers that you've been seeing and book up your wedding business in 2025. Because again, this is a great time to be focusing on this. We are right at the cusp of heading into a new year, new energy, new excitement. And this is the time to really pull all of these things together and make a difference because it's a time for a fresh start, right? Time to get past this, time to adopt these new methods that are going to get you the results that you're actually looking for. So the first thing I need you guys to know is this. All of those methods I talked about a minute ago, ads, SEO, listings, they can work and they do work for a lot of people, but they'll never work as well as you need them to if you are missing one critical element, the right messaging. Okay, your messaging is what bridges the gap between the leads you're attracting and the bookings that you want. Because you're great at what you do, right? Like you're a fabulous wedding pro. Your clients that do book you, they love you. You've got great reviews, all of these things, right? It should be so obvious why you are the only choice for your ideal couples. But if all they really needed to book you was to understand your skill level, your experience, see your portfolio, the many positive reviews and testimonials from your past clients, wouldn't you be totally booked up right now? Wouldn't everything be so much easier? Because you have all those things and you're showing them in those ads and those listings and you're telling them about it in your calls. But there is a gap between what they should see and what they need to see to book you. And if you're not saying the right things in the right way to the right people, then no amount of traffic or ads is going to help. So messaging is really the magic. It's the missing element. It's the magic key that finally makes all of those things work. Because what we see a lot of times from different wedding pros is that they'll run the ads, but it'll be something like, now booking for 2025 or now booking for 2026, or it'll say, have your perfect wedding day at our venue or something along those lines. And that's all good things. It is things that they need to know, but it's not enough. It's not deep enough. And I'm going to get into that in just a second, okay? So thinking about that and all of those things that we've done, like I said, they can work for you, but you have to know how to do them in the right way and to have that missing element, that missing key that is going to get them to understand why you are going to be the right one for them, why you are better than your competitors, okay? So the second thing that you need to know to book up your wedding business is that every single one of your couples has a deeper reason for why they want your service in the way that you deliver it, okay? So a lot of wedding pros, they will say things just a minute ago, like I said, have your perfect wedding day here, stress-free wedding day, pack up your dance floor, beautiful photos. Those are all things that they want. It's not an untrue statement, but there is a deeper reason for why they want what you have to offer and the reason why they want your particular service, okay? They want those beautiful photos. They want that gorgeous venue. They want great music that is going to keep their guests dancing all night long, and all of the other reasons of why they choose the vendors for their wedding, right? Oops. Okay, but here's the thing. Did you know it is so much more than that, okay? Why do they want those things? And why do they want it in the way that you deliver it? So let's look at an example, okay? Wedding photographers. A lot of times each of you will say, you have different styles, right? Some are storytelling, some are more artistic, some have a, light and airy style, some have a darker, moody style, right? And a lot of times we put those things out there with those types of words, right? Or we will just show it in our work, in our portfolio. And photographers in particular, if all it took was beautiful images and just to put your work on display, it should be so easy to book up your wedding business, right? Because you guys have all of those beautiful visuals, and we as humans are such visual people that it should be easy for our couples to see, like, wow, these are gorgeous photos. This is incredible. I want this person. But the problem is that when they go out there and they search out on Google, or they go to WeddingWire or The Knot, or they go on Zola, or wherever it is that they look, the many, many different places that they go to look online for their vendors, they see one person that has a style, that has your style and everything. They find you, and all the pictures and everything they're looking for is right there. It's perfect. But then they find someone else who has a similar style. Because as hard as we work to show our couples why we're going to be the right one for them, we can't forget they are not in the wedding industry usually, right? And they've never been married before, usually. So they have no idea. They can't tell what makes one wedding pro better than the other. To them, they're just seeing beautiful pictures, beautiful pictures. So what is missing is that messaging. That is what's going to connect it and bridge that gap, because again, all they're seeing is, to them, it's an apples to apples comparison. But based off of the skill level that you have, the experience, the way that you are able to guide your clients, that you're able to get them to feel comfortable in front of the lens, the way that you're able to keep everybody on track throughout the day, all of those little things that all add up to an incredible experience with you. They don't understand those things. They don't know those things because they don't realize it. All they're looking at is photos, photos. And so that's all they have to go off until we show them that we understand them in a way that is better, that we get them in a way that no one else does, and that we understand what it is that they really want from their wedding photography, okay? Now, I'm saying this for wedding photographers. I know there's a lot of other wedding pros in here, but it's true for that as well. So think about DJs, okay? A lot of times we say, hey, when we talk with our students in the Growth Academy, I'll say, well, what is it that your couples say to you that they're really looking for from, when they book you, and that they're so excited for on their wedding day? Well, they want to have their wedding, they want to have their dance floor packed all night long. They want a great party and for everyone to have a great time. Absolutely true. So true. But the question is, why do they want those things? Because for one couple, It could be that they want everybody from their 5-year-old niece to their 90-year-old grandmother to have their moment on the dance floor, right? To have the opportunity to get out there, to have a great time, for them to share in those moments, for them to come over and just have that little shared moment on the dance floor where they can connect and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. This is fantastic. And to build those memories, right? But for other DJs, and this is exactly how it goes with our students too, once we start to dig into these things and uncover those deeper reasons, which is where all the messaging comes from. We'll get to that. Another DJ, it might be that their couple is the life of the party. And there are some certain expectations that that couple has to live up to, okay? They're the ones that are always throwing the awesome parties. They're the ones that are always going out there, and they're the ones that know all of the hot spots in town, the ones that are always planning the nights out, the ones that are always getting all their friends to go out and everything. So what's going to happen at their wedding? The expectations are like they went from here to here, right? Because that couple is known for throwing an amazing party. They're known for having, like, just giving everybody the time of their life every time they go out. Now we're talking about some deeper expectations here, right? More than just like, oh, it needs to be a fun time for everybody on the dance floor. No, no, no. Their social reputation hangs in the balance here, right? So this is something that maybe it sounds silly to you, but when you really dig into and understand your couples and you talk to them and you start to get to know them, isn't that usually what you end up hearing from them? Is there is something more of what they want from your service. It's why do they want it? What are they so excited about for your particular service and how they want you to deliver it? What we have to do is we have to get that understanding, that deeper emotional need is what we call it, getting to know that and then putting that way before the sales call, okay? Helping them to understand these things before they get into the call. So on your profile, on your Instagram, in your bios, on your website, all of these places that you are showing up online, speaking to that deeper emotional need and making that connection with them, bridging that gap between what they should see and what they are seeing, like visually, but then what they're understanding. That is what messaging does. That is the key to all of this. This is what has been missing from all of the ads that you've been running, all of the follow-up messages that you've been doing. When you don't have that clear messaging in place, they don't understand what makes you better and different than your competitors. We have to do that work. That's our job as the professionals, is to get them to understand that. And messaging does all of that heavy lifting for you once you know how to speak to that and what your couples need to hear, okay? So this is, like I said, we call this the emotional need. And the reason why it's so important to know that beyond, like I said, just that gap, it goes even more than that. Leads come to you for logical reasons. I need a DJ. I need a florist. I need, stationery. I need all of these things. That's the logical reason why they come to you, right? And why they're looking for you for their wedding. But they buy based on emotions. Every single one of us. I mean, if you even think about yourself, what is it why do you go and buy, one pair of jeans over another, right? It's not only just because it's like you just need clothing. It's because one of them makes you feel a certain way. Like, I don't know, maybe that's a silly example, but it's the whole point of understanding why we want these things. What is it that is going to help us to decide that one brand is better for us than another brand? Why do we choose a certain car over another one? Jeeps, for example, they give us a sense of adventure, right? That's everything that they play off of. If you're sporty, you're someone who goes on all these adventures in your car with your friends, with your kids, anything like that. Versus someone who buys a BMW, who is looking for luxury, who is looking for status symbol, those kinds of things. There is a deeper reason why all of us as humans, we need to know why we should put our time and money and effort into something. And messaging is what does that. This is what, when we get that deeper emotional need and we say it, we connect the gap and connect the dots for them, that is what is going to get them to understand why we're going to be the right one for them, okay? So another thing we got to think about is like this. If you are in front of the wrong audience, or even the right audience, but your message is generic, or it's focused on price, or you're not speaking to that deeper emotional need, they're just going to keep scrolling. Because let's face it, there is no shortage of wedding pros out there, right? Especially over the last couple of years when there was this, huge wedding boom, and pretty much anybody who said that they were in the wedding industry could book some weddings, right? But for those of you who have been in this for a while, you are in it to win it. This is your main job, or you want it to be your main job, and you have to book. You need these bookings. This is not just a fun little hobby for you. This is your business. It's your passion. Then you need to understand how to bring these couples in and how to connect with them, so that way they don't go out and find somebody else. They don't try to find somebody who is going to be able to speak to that deeper need. You're the one who can give them what they're looking for, but they're not going to know it if we don't tell them, okay? So if your message is going to speak directly to their hearts, their dreams, their concerns, and help them to understand that you get them in a way that nobody else does, that's what's going to make them stop and say, all right, this person gets me. I don't think we need to do any more searching. Or at the very least, they're going to say, all right, I need to schedule a call with this person, understand more about them. I need to know that they're going to be the right one for me. Because isn't that a lot of the frustration that you guys have been feeling too? So many of you will tell us that, like, I can close them if I can just get them to me. It's the getting them to you that's the problem, right? It's getting them to make that leap from sending an inquiry and saying, send me your packages and pricing, to actually having a conversation with you and then actually saying, yes, I'm so excited. Send over the contract. Let me send over the deposit. I want you. That is the difference, is understanding what is going to get them through that path and get them to see why you are going to be better than anyone else for them, okay? And the third thing that you need to know to book up your wedding business next year is that it's a myth that you need to understand, is that more leads will solve your booking problem. Unfortunately, this is not true. Most wedding pros think that if they just get more leads, they'll automatically book more weddings, right? You have all this possibility, all this opportunity. You see all these people coming in. It's like, yes, all these people want what I have to offer. But unfortunately, that's just not true. Because without the right messaging that connects, it's like pouring water into a bucket with holes in it, okay? All your marketing efforts are just leaking away because that messaging isn't connecting. So instead of just chasing more leads and putting more money into all of those lead sources we were talking about earlier, you need to focus on patching the holes. And when you fix your messaging, you learn how to connect with those leads on that deeper level, you stop losing your opportunities, and suddenly all the effort that you've already put into the ads and SEO and all the other efforts, the things that you're doing to bring in these leads, it actually starts working. And it actually starts showing them why they need to stick around and why they need to book you, okay? So I want to tell you about one of our students, Becca. She is one of our students from the Growth Academy, and she was a successful photographer with absolutely gorgeous photos. Like, she is like the epitome of the light and airy style. It is so beautiful, which is actually pretty impressive considering she's in Seattle. Like, it's not super light and airy all the time out there, right? It's pretty gloomy some days, most days, right? So she has this absolutely gorgeous style. She has a way of being able to take her couples and just put them in this gorgeous light, be able to pose them and give them these incredible photos that really stand out from a lot of other photographers in her area. The thing is that she was ready to take her business to the next level. She was struggling to get couples to see why her photography was better, even though, like I said, from a visual standpoint, it should have been so obvious that she was the one, because she had gorgeous work. She was this wonderful, sweet person. Like, she connected with them well when she got them into the calls, okay? But the problem is that she wasn't able to get them to see why her photography was better than the others, and it was costing her sales and just making her more frustrated every single day, okay? Like I said, she was great at what she did, and it wasn't that she couldn't attract the leads. The missing factor was that she couldn't get them onto a call and convert them into clients using her old methods. It just wasn't cutting it anymore. So we worked with her to refine her messaging, make sure that it was in all the right places and saying all the right things to actually connect with her couples in the way that they needed to hear it. And show them not just what she did, but how she understood their needs and could give them that perfect experience they were looking for. So guess what happened? In less than 3 months, Becca saw a 400% increase in her leads scheduling consultations with her. And that took her from regular ghostings, people reaching out and saying, oh, send me packages and pricing. She gave them exactly what they were looking for, responded to them, never heard from her, before all of this. 400% increase in her lead scheduling consultations. So she went from regularly getting ghosted to now easily turning her leads into booked clients because they were already so excited by understanding ahead of time before they got into that call with her why she was going to be the right one for them and why she could give them an experience that others couldn't, going beyond that gorgeous photography that they already knew she could deliver. There was that deeper reason that they weren't getting ahead of time, okay? So once she had all that, that was that missing gap. And that's where she saw things start to just soar for her. And it's been fantastic. She's been keeping up with us and giving us updates on that. And it's just been so exciting to see her continue to bring in and book up her team. Because that's the other thing too, is that she has a team that she needed to keep busy, right? Hard to keep them busy if we're not able to get them from the inquiry into the consultation and into the close. And now things have been working so great for her, and it's so exciting to see her growth. So that has been really exciting. That's just one example, right? This is what we teach wedding pros every single day. We teach them how to create messaging that turns leads into bookings. Because like I said earlier, it doesn't matter how many leads you bring in. The truth of the matter is it's not difficult to bring in leads. It really isn't. There are plenty of ways, and I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of ways before, or perhaps you've tried plenty of ways before to get the volume part of the lead equation into place. That's not a problem. You can actually get leads, no problem. It's turning them into the bookings. That's the real issue, converting those leads into bookings. So once you understand how to bridge that gap, that's where things are going to start to change for your wedding business, because these leads are finally seeing ahead of time, before you get into the call with them, why you're going to be the right one for them. And the bonus element of that that's really exciting is that they're also pre-warmed before you get into the sales call. Because that was another thing that a lot of our clients had told us about, was that they were very frustrated that they would get into these calls with these couples and it was very much well, sell me. Tell me what you got. Tell me why you're better. Tell me why I should book you. And it was this very frustrating attitude that a lot of you guys were getting, that our students were telling us they were getting, where these people are coming to them and it's like they had to prove themselves over and over and over again to these couples when they shouldn't have to prove themselves. They were already amazing. They had the experience. They had the skill. They knew what they were doing. And again, it should have been so obvious to these couples. But instead, these couples are coming to them like, so tell me what you do. What do you, what's going on here? They were not convinced ahead of time. They should have been convinced, but they weren't. So this is why you have to bridge that gap with that messaging, because once you have that, not only are they going to start to see ahead of time past that visual aspect like we were talking about, they're going to start to see why you can help them in a way that nobody else can. So then when they come to the call, they've already got the majority of their questions answered. They already understand why you're better than everybody else. They already understand how you can give them the experience that they're really looking for from your service. Now, all they need to do is have that conversation with you so that they can understand, okay, can this person, one, are they available on my date? Pretty important, right? But also to understand, like, they're going to always have more specific questions that they need to know for their specific wedding. And they do need to have that conversation with you to know that you can answer them and to know that you can give them completely everything. They're like 75% of the way there by the time they get to that call. And they just need that last little bit of information from you to like fully clinch it and to understand, all right, this is going to be the one. Let's move forward, right? When your leads come to those calls pre-warmed, like I said, not only does that make things so much easier for you, because you don't have to go through all those things. You don't have to prove yourself and to remind them again of all of your accolades, all of the things that your past couples have said to you that they love about you. That work has already been done. Now all you have to do is focus on building that relationship with them, answering their specific questions, and get them to see that this is the time. Now is the time to move forward, okay? So when you master this, when you get all of these three things into place and you start to, you have these things going for you, okay, you master it, you're gonna stop wasting time on more leads, putting all that money, time, effort that we talked about, putting it into getting more leads, and instead start turning the leads that you already have into sales. And that means that you're gonna be booking more weddings without more stress. and you're finally going to have that freedom to focus on what you love. Because I'm pretty sure that you went into this not because you love a sales call, not because you love the follow-up and because you love spending money on marketing. I'm pretty sure you went into this because somebody at one point came to you and said, oh, you're really good at this. You should do this for a living. And so that's why you have this wedding business, right? Because you love doing what you do. You love the challenge of it. You love the artistry of it, the skill of it, and serving these couples who are so grateful for you, who just they see and they understand why you are so great at this. And they're like, oh, thank goodness I found them for my day. I'm so glad that I have them. Because you know that you can make their big day different. You can make it better, right? You know that you can give them what it is that they're really looking for, that deeper emotional need. But if we don't tell them through our messaging, if we don't show them this, then they're never going to understand it. And it is such a loud, noisy, complicated world out there, right? We already talked about just the saturation that a lot of markets see with wedding pros who are trying to be just like you, right? They try to have the same skills. They try to have the same rapport and client service and everything. But at the end of the day, nobody can do it like you. But if we can't find a way to tell our clients about that in a way that makes sense to them, then we're never going to be able to bridge that gap. We're never going to be able to get them to see why we are better than our competitors and why we're going to be able to give them a better experience than anybody else could. Okay? So this is why when we understand those three things, your business starts to change. And I hope this is starting to shift your perspective a little bit, because so much of running a successful wedding business is understanding, so much of it is mental, right? It's understanding that we have something amazing to give our couples, but we have to know the right way to do it. It can't be all focused on us and our skill set and everything. It has to be something that connects with them at that deeper level. So just to recap, so we can go through this, and we will send out a replay of this later on, but the biggest things, the three most important things that you need to understand to break past these booking barriers is, one, all of these methods, ads, SEO, listings, these types of things can work, but not if you don't have the right messaging, okay? The second thing you need to know is that every single one of your couples has a deeper reason for why they want your service and why they want it in the way that only you can deliver it. And we have to know how to describe that to them and how to get them to see it. And then the third thing is that more leads is not going to solve your booking problem. Instead, you need to know how to have the right messaging that connects to take those leads and actually convert them into bookings. So that way, we're not just spending all that time, spending all the money that I know a lot of us don't have right now, right? A lot of us are just, we don't want to keep pumping more money into something that isn't going to work. You need a solution that's going to actually bridge that gap, make them take these leads and turn them into bookings so that you can actually grow your business and actually move forward, okay? And so many of you have been so frustrated by it, and I know you have. But when you get this right and you get these pieces into place, this is what makes all of the difference. So I want to take a couple of minutes while we are here to see if there's any good questions that I can answer real quick. Feel free to put anything else in the chat. If there's anything that maybe you could use a little clarification on, I am more than happy to do that as well. Let's see here. So I see Jamie says that he or she, I apologize. I see Jamie Lee Hart there. There we go. We advertise on the Knot, WeddingWire, the Bash, getting lots of leads, but have a problem turning most of those into bookings. You're very good value as opposed to other bands. Fantastic. Jamie, actually, would you want to unmute and tell me a little bit more about that? Maybe I can help you dig into that a little bit more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely think that we do have a problem in messaging, personally.
Yeah.
And we get tons of leads on mostly from WeddingWire, a little less from the Knot, and less from the Bash.
Okay.
We get lots of leads. Some I book very quickly. I booked one last week in a day.
Nice.
with two emails and one phone call.
Fantastic.
And they went for our regular price,
Hmm.
which is a very good value as opposed to eight and $10,000, $12,000 bands.
Hmm.
Um, and they also went for our ceremony package and not just the reception, which we offer as an addition to the reception.
Hmm.
So they have a like a one-stop shop for ceremony, cocktail hour, and reception.
Hmm.
And one thing for us is, which, and I try to convey to them is, and I think I may not be doing it in the correct way, is our goal for them is to, um, for the ceremony and reception specifically, is to um, come into those things with no worries. Everything's taken care of. We take care of everything, and they know that from the beginning or
Hmm.
on when the time comes for that date, well, when that date gets here.
Hmm.
And and it seems like when we connect with those people with that messaging,
Hmm.
and they know exactly, well, they're going to take care of everything for us. It's going to be stress free. There's going to be no worries. We can have a good time, not worry about these things.
Hmm.
Um, then we seem to book very quickly. But I think sometimes that messaging doesn't get through like we like for it to.
Yeah, why do you think? Because that's really interesting. That like you said, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. What do you feel is the difference?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't. I mean, I don't know whether it's the construction of our the way the website's put together because it is a little bit older and I did it myself.
Hmm.
Um, we've tried to do SEO as best that I can or
Hmm.
that I knew how to do.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
I really don't.
interesting. So when and just to dig in more because this is what I love doing. So it's helping like dig into these things because it's a lot of times you know your couples so well, and sometimes
Mhm.
it's just getting to the heart of a couple of little things that it's like it makes this light bulb go off for them. What do you think is their biggest concern? Like you mentioned about like their worries, like you mentioned like having with the ceremony package and everything like that. What do you think they're worried about? Things going wrong. What do you think are their biggest thing that they're worried about?
I have no idea. I mean, I really don't. I mean, we've had one in the hundreds of reviews that we
Hmm.
have online on all platforms. They're all 99.5% or five star. We have one bad review in all these years in the hundreds that we have online.
Hmm.
And that was simply because the mother of the bride wanted to destroy us, and that was because it's, I'll try to shorten it very, very short. We were on our way to the gig. The truck broke a serpentine belt. It broke down. We had to have it towed for $600 to the venue. We were on time. We were set up in time for the ceremony, reception, everything. It did not disrupt any of that.
Hmm.
But they wanted the mom of the bride, it was really important for her, for us to learn the father-daughter dance and the first dance. We had learned them 2 or 3 weeks before, and the way we do that is we learn them beforehand. We get there an hour or two early, go over them 2 or 3 times until they're perfect,
Hmm.
and then we're ready to go. We
Okay.
didn't have time to do that because of the
Uh,
truck breaking down. So
yeah.
we explained that to her, and she was very, very angry. We played the recorded versions. The bride and the groom was very happy.
Hmm.
The guest had no idea
Hmm.
about any of this, but she could not get over it.
Mm.
And she was very, very angry on all platforms. Every place she could find, she posted a very, very nasty, nasty review. And
And
that's the only one ever.
Yeah. And that's so frustrating because it's like, come on, the one time that it happens, that something could go crazy where it's really not in your control. And it sounds like you did the best that you could. So I'm sorry that that happened. But
Well, the thing is,
yeah.
I was going to offer her compensation,
Hmm.
for not being able to play the songs.
Sure.
But before I did that, she wanted a $2,000 refund.
Hmm.
I mean, I can't give her $2,000 back.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
so
as they sometimes things like that are just it's nothing you can do, right? You did
yeah,
everything that you could. What
yeah.
I found interesting was the fact that you said that there was like a custom song and everything like that.
Mhm.
This is where we start digging into like the messaging part, and that's where some of this comes in because the question is, why do they want a custom song? Why can't you just play like My Girl or something like that?
Mhm.
I don't know. We're sorry, Metro Detroit. I immediately went Motown, but like if you could just play something like that, why do they want some sort of a custom song? Why is that important to them?
Oh, well, it's always uh, the majority of the time it's very important. But doing recording songs are fine, or
Mm-hmm.
recorded songs are typically fine. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they do want you to play one or the other. It's not
Yeah.
usually both.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not a problem. We can do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
um,
and if you think about like the reason why people want live bands in the first place, it's because, um, and this is no shade to DJs or anything like that, but it's like it's a different energy, right? It's
right,
it's having
right,
a live band versus recorded
definitely.
music, and that's the
Yep.
thing that's interesting to me. She got so worked up over the recording, over being
Hmm.
recorded,
Yep.
because what that would tell me, and obviously we would need to work a little bit more in a session or something, but what that tells me is that they're looking for something special, something
Hmm.
that is not, um because for some people recording would be just fine. It's
Hmm.
beautiful, and a lot of people want, and some people, like, that's why some people go with DJs, right? Because they want a version that is familiar, that they know. But it sounds like your particular couples are looking for a different experience, a next level experience. And like I said, there's more to it we would have to unpack that we,
Yeah.
just won't be able to do here.
Some
But
of them are in that area, but
yeah,
not a whole lot.
yeah. So that's what's interesting, and that might be something worth exploring a little bit more, is understanding. Okay, well, what is it? And that's the thing that also hits also to part of our messaging is we have to show them that we understand their concerns as well. Again, not using this one as an example because that was something you couldn't have planned for, but just in general, it's like what we usually teach our students is we start with by saying, well, I know that my couples want this, but I know they also don't want this, because
Mm,
part of it is understanding. Messaging is not just showing them that it's showing them what that deeper need of what it is that they're looking for, but it's also showing them that you understand what they don't want, and to make
hmm.
sure to show them that, like, I know you don't want this, so that's why we do this, or that's why we have this type of service, or the way that we do things, it does that to prevent this from happening, or to make sure that you don't have this experience that you're worried about. So
Hmm.
that's such a big part of it too, is understanding both what they want but what they don't want, and showing that, because then it's like they're like, okay, not only are they going to be able to give me that experience, but I don't have to, like you mentioned, about not having to worry about things, not having the stress about things. Well, why are they going to stress about it? So it's
Right.
all those things. Once we dig into them, it's really good. So thank you
Well,
for
that's
sharing that. It's a
something
good
that I
example.
really, really, really try to
Excuse me.
stress to them is that they don't have to worry about these things.
Mm-hmm.
Once we have two or three conversations about the schedule, the
Mm-hmm.
music, and a few other things, everything's down and perfect. Before we get there, they don't have to worry about a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just going back to the last call that I had last week
Mm-hmm.
was they said at the end of the call, both of them were very relieved
Mm-hmm.
and satisfied with the things that I had told them that we can do for them,
Mm-hmm.
which takes a lot off of their plate,
It
you
does.
know, and
Yeah.
and then they'll have to worry about those things.
Hmm. And
So,
again, it's like it's digging into, like, why do they not want to have to worry about those things? And it's going down to this ladder until you get to this point where you're just like, yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. So that way they feel like you get them. all the way around. No matter what happens, you've got their back. You know exactly how to fix it, how to make sure things don't go crazy. So,
Yeah.
no, this is really good. Thank you for sharing that because
Yeah.
this is something I think a lot of people struggle with. And I did happen to see another one that caught my eye was I think it was Brandon was saying, you know, we shifted from wedding booking sites to trying to find more organic social media leads and building SEO. We're spending more time giving information, tips on wedding pages instead of playing pick me on every post, searching for something. Yeah, it's it's interesting, and I don't know if Brandon, if you're available to come on as well. It's very interesting that if you're in any of these groups or anything like that where they'll, you know, someone will say, oh, I'm looking for a photographer for this date and everything, and all these people, like, I think that is that what you're saying about the pick me things, where, you know, people will chime in and say, oh yeah, I can help you on that date. Is that what you mean? I think you might be talking. I'm sorry, Brandon, if you're talking, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Let's try that. Is that better?
Ah, there we go. Yay.
My system's been acting up today. It's hence the
Yeah,
reason my
no
camera's not
worries.
working. So
No
apologies
worries.
there. Yeah, exactly as you're saying. I mean, I just got tagged in a post yesterday by an event planner who's like, oh,
Hmm.
this is the DJ you want to work with. And before I could even get in and make a post on it or talk anything on there, there's like 50 DJs like, oh, I'm DJ so and so. Come and add me. Come and add me. I'll come and get it. And it's like, what the hell are y'all doing? Like, you've zero value. You're showing nothing. I saw a guy post on one the other day that was like, no website, no problem. Book me on Instagram. And it's like, are you for real right
Oh my
now? Like,
gosh.
what are you doing? So yeah, getting away from that pick me vibe has really, it's helped me mentally, for
Yeah.
lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
And just getting into those kind of, wedding websites and things like that, and just posting once a week even of like, hey, here's your tip of the week from us,
Yeah.
from my company at 7,000 feet of sound, talking
Yeah.
about finding songs or talking about what is important and truly important, and
Mhm.
allowing the clients who see that value to come to us instead of us trying to weed through the sea of everybody.
Mhm. And a big part of and that's which I totally understand what you're saying because yeah, it's when I see those on there, it's just like, oh my gosh, especially when they say the ones like no website, no problem. It's like, ah. Okay, well, because here's the problem is that any sort of a bride who is going to because okay, all of the couples or I'm sorry, all the professionals that are on here, okay, I'm pretty sure each of you are not the ones who are doing something like that, who are just like desperate to book anybody. You don't want just anybody. You want the couples who appreciate you, who want what you have to offer, and are going to be so excited to, you know, give you that great review. They're going to be telling you, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I found you. I'm so glad that I went with you." Especially if it's, you know, you have those higher packages and everything like that, you want couples who are going to value you and who are not going to be scared off by that higher price tag. They want the higher price tag because they know it means higher quality of service, higher, well, just higher quality in general, right? So the question then becomes like thinking about the topic for this session, which was the, you know, the fast way to find those high quality leads. Well, the fast way is the messaging, right? Having the right messaging, but then it's taking it and putting it in all those different areas. So starting with, I mean, you're on a great start, you know, by doing things organically like that. But the hard part about organic is that we talk a lot about the fast and the slow version, you know, the fast and slow methods of getting leads. And the slow methods, unfortunately, are usually the organic ones. They work, absolutely. It just sometimes takes a while. And if you get to a point where it's like, I need to bring in some people now, I need to make some bookings now, then you have to go with those fast methods, which unfortunately, fast equals paid. Organic equals free, you know, or, you know, slow equals free, fast equals paid. And that, but that all that means is ads and things like that. And you're going to have an investment somewhere, either your time or your money, right? So if you're going to put the money investment in here and get those fast results, then you have to make sure that you are saying it in those right ways, right? That you're able to now take those things that are working so well on organic, but then taking it and knowing the right way to put that out there through those paid methods. Um, and it's once you understand though, because there really is a science to it, you know, just saying, you know, we do this or we do that is again, it's not enough. It's understanding what is that deeper reason, but being able to put it in a method that's going to get them for whichever platform you're using, being able to do that. So I don't know, have you run any ads recently or anything like that?
Not recently. I just rebuilt my website about 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
because my old website was hosted on WordPress,
Mhm.
and WordPress was just constantly destroying it,
Mhm.
um, and was just killing any leads we were getting. We were getting, 400 or 500 people a week hitting our website, and
Mhm.
then maybe getting one lead out of it, which told me that my website was desperately in need of a rebuild. And so we did that, rebranded, and that has helped considerably, but now I'm
Mhm.
rebuilding my SEO. So
Okay,
it's kind of
good.
in a endless cycle. But in previous ads that I have run, I have close to about 15,000 people that have interacted with my previous ads.
Mhm.
So I have a collection of folks that I can target. And
Mhm.
that's where my brain has been right now, has been doing the organic side of it so that people
Mhm.
start seeing my name and seeing my company name.
Mhm.
And so when I go to run ads, I'll probably start at the first of the year, actually, right
Mhm.
after everyone else is doing all their huge Christmas ads. Start them at the first of the year in that still kind of engagement season,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and target those folks who have targeted or have interacted
Mhm.
with us in the past. So
Mhm.
hopefully we'll see.
Yeah. Well, if I can challenge you just a little bit, is to think about again with that messaging. So now you've got the visual side of the updated website. You know, not that's not a bad thing to do. You know, to make sure that it's looking well and that it's functioning well from an SEO perspective. Absolutely, those are important things to do. But definitely now the next part is going to be making sure that that messaging again connects, because even when they do find you through those organic methods, or they find you, you know, social media, those kinds of things, the ones who are serious are going to want to go to your website, go check things out, and make sure that the two things are lining up and that the
Right.
messaging is consistent. But it's also getting them, it's your website should absolutely be not just attracting the people in, but like you said, with, you know, only getting bookings and things like that and actual leads in, just making sure that that messaging is on point to not only like bring them in and get them excited about what you have to offer and to start looking into you, but to want to move them forward. Because your website should always be this, and this is for everybody, your website should always be doing its job of bringing leads to you and turning those leads into bookings by doing that pre-warming, by getting them into those into that funnel for you. But the thing is that the really challenging part about websites, for example, is that there's a lot of research out there that talks about just how short our attention spans are online now, especially.
Yep.
And with websites, they say you have now, it's less than 6 seconds to convince people to stick around on your website. And the further down they go on your website, the more you lose people. So you have to make sure that you have the right information in the right places that is going to not only get them when they land there to be like, wow, this looks beautiful, but then they need that other half of it, that messaging part, to bridge that gap and to feel like, okay, I want to learn more. So then wanting to scroll down, okay, learn a little bit more, learn a little bit more, until they get to that contact form where they press that button that says schedule a call. Making sure that you have that as well. So that would be my challenge to you, is to make sure that you have those things in that right place and that we're able to move them down, so that way you're really getting the biggest bang for your buck from your investment with that website and everything. And then the follow-up strategy too, which we'll talk about on day 3. So
Awesome. Thank you.
awesome. Great. Thanks for coming on. All right. And then I feel like there was one other really good one here, a couple of other questions. Um, let me see here. Oh, yeah, Daniel says the cheaper couples do not communicate with you at all. True. Um, Especially the ones that ask for packages and pricing and then say, well, how much can you do that less for, right? But that's why we want to make sure that we are showing them that we are next level. We are not the people who are going to be ready to just give them any old price, right? We have actually a fantastic student, Harold. He's a DJ in New York. And I loved what he said in one of our calls, where he said, I will not be just a price. I won't just be another checkbox on your list of people to book. I will be, I know my worth. I know I know that I can give them a better experience. And so he doesn't want to book the people that are just looking for a box to check. They're looking for someone who is next level with their, you know, their entertainment needs. They want someone who is going to give them that higher level experience. So the thing is, though, is that then he needed to know a way to be able to do that. So that's exactly what he's been doing. He actually has 2 companies, and so we've been working on the one, that one's all set and that's rolling, and then we're working on the second one and making sure that that one is all aligned with its messaging as well. So that way, not only are we bringing in, we are attracting those couples that are going to want that higher level experience, but yeah, we're actually pushing away the cheaper ones. And I'll tell you, this is actually a good thing, and I'll tell you why. Because those are the people you're just going to end up wasting your time with. You're going to end up spending all this time trying to get them into a conversation, trying to get them to see your value, trying to get them to see why you're so expensive, right? And instead, in the end, they were never going to, they've got a certain price in their heads and they're not moving past it because they're not looking for someone of your caliber. They're looking for who can give them the cheapest price, right? And we do not want to be in that position. We do not want to be in this price war because we are higher level wedding professionals, right? We have a higher level of service, and you guys are not ones that are looking to play that price game. You're not ones that are looking to say like, okay, yeah, I'm happy to give him a deal, just anything to get him on the books, right? No, you don't want just anybody. You want people you love. Like I said earlier, people who are going to be appreciative of you, who are going to be so grateful for you, and are going to be like, this was the one for me, and it is so worth it. I'm so glad that we got them for our wedding. And it was worth every single penny because they know that you're giving them the experience that they ultimately want. Okay. So I totally agree with you. Don't play with the cheaper ones. Don't play with the ones that are only looking to get you at a super cheap price for as cheap as they can get you. Because no, those aren't going to be the ones that value you. Instead, let's put our efforts towards those couples that are going to want you, that are going to be so excited and so grateful for you because they know that you were the right one for them. All right. Any questions? I just realized all of a sudden we're here at the end here of this hour here. Are there any questions that maybe I haven't answered yet, or anything I can expand on a little bit more from what we've talked about today? I would be happy to do that. Feel free to unmute if you would like to do that.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yes. I just opened in April of 2024.
Yes.
And I've had a couple of events already and have some bookings for next year. But what I've been running across a lot is that the couple says for packages a lot.
Mhm.
First, I got a little bit of training on venues as a venue owner, and I realized that it was best to just send them to our catering companies to pick up their own package and to the florist and so on and so. But I've been running across a lot of couples that want like a package. They seem to not want to do a lot of the work. And I feel like I have lost a few of them because of that. They want that, and as much as all the vendors tell us, no, send us so that we could choose them all the options that they could choose. But I'm starting to feel like I want to get them an all-inclusive. What do you advise on that?
Well, that's really interesting. Okay, so the question, so just so I understand it correctly, is it that the way that you are currently structuring your offerings and everything is that it is more, it's selective, it's more a la carte where they're able to choose their own caterers, their own, all these different people, and you just provide the location, but you'll provide like recommendations. Is that how you're doing it?
Right. I offer the venue only, and
Mhm.
including all the furniture,
Yeah.
and I give them a number of catering company that I am affiliated with, florists, all that, and then they keep asking me, oh, what does the price include? And we don't want to be doing so much work. We don't want to work too much on this,
Yeah.
and so I said, yeah, just contact the catering company. They'll help you out. They'll, you get to choose the menu, and they have different options, and they stay quiet, but I get a feeling that they almost want me to show them right there.
Interesting.
I like, okay, look, this is a sheet. I'm almost at the point where I'm going to create a sheet of the 3 different options of meats and say, you're going to pick from this. And look at this is a florist option, and this is this, almost like even something very visual.
Yeah.
And but how is everyone operating? Is it venue only, and then just send them away to the different vendors?
Yeah. So that's interesting. So it all depends on, honestly, what we do here is you know the best way that you want to run your business. So we don't usually tell people like how to structure their packages or anything like that, only because that's truly up to you and how you do it. We can provide some guidance and some recommendations, on how to determine that. But really what I would recommend is to think about if having the a la carte services is what works best for you and what works best for the way that you can run your business right now, then I would recommend instead structuring your messaging to appeal to the people who would want those kinds of things. And the thing is, then we would need to work on like why would those people want? Why do they want those kinds of things? What are they looking for? What is the benefit to them to be able to select their own? Why would they want that? Versus people who are looking for an all-inclusive package, someone who is going to tell them, because there are some couples where it's like, yeah, they do want that because, for a multitude of reasons, right? They don't want the stress of it for many different reasons. But some people are like, hey, don't pigeonhole me. Don't make me have to, be settled into this. Instead, they have options. They have choices by working with you, right? But the question then becomes is, why is that important to them? Why do they want choices? And there's a lot of different reasons for that. We've worked with a lot of venues where one venue, it'll be for one reason, it'll be for another, but with the same style of package. So you're not alone in having, and I don't think that's a bad model at all by having their options and everything. And again, I would recommend do what works best for you and the way that you are best able to serve your couples right now with your venue. And you can always, change things up a little bit if you want later. But instead, start with the messaging. How can we attract people to us, the couples that want exactly what you have to offer in the way that you're able to do it? And I think that there's a lot of opportunity for that.
Is it advisable to put it on the website? Like we are affiliated with certain vendors, this and that, or you're welcome to choose your own, or is it advisable to include it in the website?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because that's part of the messaging, is making sure that we're communicating on our website and social media, in our listings, our ads, everything like that, is showing them why the way that you offer things for your venue, having those options, why is that a benefit for them rather than a detractor? Why is it a negative? It's why is this a positive for them instead? And that why it's best for certain types of couples. Why do those couples want to have those options? Why do they want to be able to choose them? And it sounds like you provide them with plenty of guidance, so that's good. You could also mention that, but it's really, the key is going to be understanding that underlying reason of why they want those choices, And
Yes.
that's where the fun comes in too. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
excellent. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let me see if there's any last questions here, but otherwise, let's see here. I think that's there. Okay. Okay, I know that we're at the end here. I want to respect you guys' time as well. But so today we will be sending out a replay, so you guys can take a look at that. And I hope that at the very least we were able to, I was able to impress upon you guys the importance of messaging, how this is really the core of how to transform your wedding business, and making sure your couples understand why you're going to be different, why you're going to be better for them than your competitors, and really bridging that gap between what they should be seeing. They should be seeing that you're the obvious choice for them, but what they need to hear and what they need to see is different, and how we need to make sure that we have that messaging that bridges that gap between those two things, okay, to get them to book. So tomorrow we are going to be talking about how to get leads to see you for your value, not just your price. So this is kind of a nice segue to go into that, is now that we understand that messaging is the key to this. So now how do we use that messaging to show our value and to show that we are more than just a price? Like I was just talking about with Harold, how he's like, I will not be just a price to these people. I will not just be another checklist item to them. That goes with demonstrating and showing clearly your value and why you're going to be better than your competitors. So we're going to be going over that tomorrow. Same link here, 11 a.m. Eastern, same time, and I can't wait to go over that. And any questions that you guys have in between, feel free to message us, or email us, hello@bookmorebrides.com, and we would be happy to answer them for you. And if you want to have a conversation to better understand how we could help you with some of these things, I think that Nick and Matt have been in here from our team, just helping to, you can connect with them and get a call scheduled scheduled, and we'd be happy to go through that and get some questions answered on your specific wedding business and how we could help you with that. So anyways, I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for being here, and have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.